Repping the hoodie, guys. I had to break this one out. It's too big for me, but I'm repping it. What's up, fans? It is Friday, and if you have been subscribed to the channel, you know what Fridays are, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because every Friday I do my preview for the Sunday's game. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the preview for the Sunday's game. I got a haircut, got the throwback hoodie on. Let's get into this jazz. We're gonna talk injuries. I'm gonna, talk about a few things that happened. Then we're gonna go into the 5 things Miami needs to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings. This is not gonna be an easy game. Last week, for the preview video, I changed my pick. Wednesday, I picked the Dolphins, and then on Friday, I changed my pick to the Patriots because Xavier Howard wasn't playing. Will I do it again this week? You'll have to watch to find out. But a lot of you guys want me to pick the the Vikings, because when I picked the Patriots, the Dolphins won. I'm not gonna do it just to be like, yeah, it worked last time, so I'm gonna do it this time, because then it won't work. That's not how superstitions work. You can't just pull it out of your ass to do it. I'm rambling. Let's get into some news and notes about this team. Let's talk injuries. I'm going to talk injuries. So, Ryan Tannehill practiced all week with his ankle heavily taped. He's doing okay. He's going to play on Sunday, which we need. A lot of people underestimate how well this team plays with Ryan Tannehill on the team. When Brock Osweiler was in there, the offense was anemic. We didn't score a touchdown for 9 quarters. As soon as Ryan Tannehill comes back, the past 3 games, the very first drive, the Dolphins have offense on the field, we score a touchdown. So he's fine. At the podium, when he was doing his whole thing, he lifted his leg to scratch it and was standing on the bad ankle, all body weight. So he's fine. Xavier Howard, on the other hand, he didn't practice Wednesday. He didn't practice yesterday, but they said they don't know if he's going to play or not. They said he can run, but it's about running horizontally, not vertically. So, it's a lot of hip movements, especially when you're a corner. That's super important, and it's a lot of movements, especially you're going against Thielen or Diggs. I'm getting to that, but it's a lot of movements, Adam Gase didn't want to say if he got his knee scoped or not, but if he did get his knee scoped, it's normally about a 2-week process for him to get better. But again, we don't know if he got it scoped because Gase won't say if he got it scoped or not. Brendel went to IR, then they signed a guard/center, Grasu? I'm assuming that's his name, but we probably won't see him play. I don't know why Isaac Asiata. If this dude is active before Isaac Asiata, I have some questions. And then finally, the last tidbit I want to do is Mika had a bad game last week against the Patriots. It seems like the whole secondary had a bad game last week against the Patriots. Mika, they had off till Wednesday. If you saw the video in the locker room, which I was like, I fucking love it. Especially Adam Gase, the way he was just talking to the guys, and he was like, I'll see you guys Wednesday. But he didn't say that he cursed, and I just cursed, but obviously I bleeped it out. But he said, I'll see you guys Wednesday. Mika came in Monday. Was in there Monday in the room watching tape, trying to get his game better. So, for all that jazz. So, I love this dude. He was a great first-round pick, and I'm super excited for it. So, those are my tidbits. Now, let's get into the 5 things the Miami Dolphins have to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings. The number 1 thing the Dolphins have to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings is they need to stop the run. If you look at all of the Vikings' losses throughout the season, you got the Buffalo Bills loss, where they only rushed for 14 yards. You look at the Rams loss, 54 yards. You look at the Saints loss, 85 yards. You look at the Bears loss, 22 yards. Patriots, 95. And last week, Seattle, they only rushed for 77 yards. Even the tie to the Packers in week 2, they only rushed for 68 yards. So if you keep the Vikings under 100 yards rushing, you have a pretty good chance at beating the Vikings, especially at home. Some of those losses where they barely rushed for 100 yards were at home, Saints and the Bills. they were at home. How would we do this? How would we stop the run? If you noticed last week, the Dolphins stopped the run with the Patriots. And what they did was they ran a 5-2 defense and stuffed the run and really made Tom Brady try to beat them through the air, which he almost did. Tom Brady threw a lot, so he almost did. But Kirk Cousins is a different type of quarterback. So if we could put it on Kirk Cousins and try to force Kirk Cousins to make certain throws, it could really help the Dolphins in a good way. So what they really need to do is they need to really focus on stopping the run and make this Vikings team one-dimensional. The second thing the Dolphins need to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings is they need to get at Kirk Cousins. Now, this is hard for the Dolphins. When the season started, we thought this team has got a great front four. We did when we had Hayes in there, and we did when we had Taylor in there. You know, they actually helped with the pressure. Like, if you look at the Titans game, we did have a lot of pressure on Marcus Mariota. But then all of a sudden the season kept going on, and we can't get pressure on your grandmother sitting at the kitchen table waiting for Grandpa to make her some meatloaf. Why do I come up with these things? We got to get at the quarterback, because if we can stop the run and if we can make this Vikings team one-dimensional, then we start getting at Kirk Cousins, start rushing at him, start getting in his face, then this team can win. It's not unlikely for this team to win. I will get to that at the end of the video. We got to get a pass rush, whether it's blitzing or not blitzing. The only thing that I'm worried about is if Xavier Howard doesn't play and we blitz, it's going to leave someone open, because there's been a few times where we've blitzed and McCain's got in there. McCain is our best blitzer, so I would blitz him. McCain and Baker are our best blitzers, and Kiko. So we have 3 good blitzers. Other than that, when we normally blitz, they'll keep a tight end in or they keep a running back in, and then someone gets open. And it worries me to blitz, but with this front four not getting pressure on their own, we need to blitz because we need to get pressure on the quarterback. Third thing the Dolphins need to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings is the Dolphins need to run the ball. With the Dolphins running the ball, that means they're controlling the line of scrimmage, they are controlling the clock, and they're keeping this offense off the field. The Vikings offense worries me because they have a lot of weapons, but the Vikings defense also worries me because they have a lot of weapons on defense as well. So if we can run the ball and matriculate and just march it down the field and tire out this Vikings defense and score and eat up clock and win the game with I don't care how many points, it'll be huge. This game is huge for the Dolphins and the season. So the Dolphins need to run the ball. They need to control the clock, and they need to control this game to win the game. Fourth thing the Dolphins need to do, and goddamn, do they really need to do this one, is they got to protect Ryan Tannehill. Like, he's getting his ass handed to him. Like, last week he got beat the crap up, and he still stayed in there, and he still played a great game, and he still won us the game. Ryan Tannehill needs to be protected, and then but it also like interchanges. I said this last week. It also interchanges with the running game. But I noticed that they weren't really having Tannehill roll out and do play actions. So if we could focus on the running game and if we could focus on shoving it down their throats, then the protection for Tannehill would work. We can move the pocket. We could do play actions. We could do rollouts. Because you give Tannehill time in the pocket, you give him time to make his reads, he can make nice throws and he can help win this game. So got to protect Ryan Tannehill. And the fifth and final thing that the Miami Dolphins need to do. Now, this game's going to be hard. I'm not expecting them to go in there and whip their ass. There hasn't been any game this season where the Dolphins have gone into a game and just whipped someone's ass. The Jets game, we whipped their ass in the first half, but then the second half they started coming back. And so the Dolphins need to not make mistakes, and they need to cause turnovers. So not make mistakes as in just dumb penalties, but nowadays with these refs and just being very favoritive to the offense, it's very hard to, play mistake-free football when like you're not holding and they'll call a hold, or it shouldn't be pass interference, but they call, you know what I'm saying? So they need to limit the mistakes in flags, but also like last week, 2 block punts. We got very lucky that we didn't lose that game. 2 block punts, and it's just no mistakes, but then also on defense, they got to start getting turnovers. You got to start picking off Kirk Cousins, but then we need to also turn those turnovers into points. That's how we win this game. Those are my 5 things the Dolphins need to do. Now, do I think the Dolphins will win this game? Now, again, superstition aside, because I can't pick the Vikings just to pick them if I don't honestly think the Vikings will win. After going over all of the stats and going over the Vikings and how good they are on defense and how bad the Dolphins are on defense. Like the Dolphins' 3rd down conversions are, I think they're 29th in the league, or maybe even last. I think it is 29th. Whereas the Minnesota Vikings defense is top ranked. I think it is the number 1 3rd down defense. This Vikings defense isn't anything to scoff at. This Viking team is nothing to scoff at. I understand that all of their wins are against below 500 teams. And all of their losses are against winning teams. And right now, the Dolphins at 7-6 are a winning team. The Vikings are 4-2 at home. The Dolphins are 1-5. So right now, how do I feel about this game, and how do I feel about if they're going to win? I'm picking Dolphins to win this game. Why am I picking the Dolphins to win this game? Well, they just fired their offensive coordinator. And it's just something in me. It's just feeling like we're going to win this game. The cards are stacked against the Dolphins. Everyone thinks the Dolphins are going to lose this game. The Vikings play great at home. The Dolphins play horrible at the road. It's just everything is adding up for a Dolphins pull-off victory. Now, Adam Gase's record when the game is within 7 points is like, I don't know, comment below, let me know what it is, but I know it's like a ridiculously good record. I think it's like 16-2. Like, if they can keep it within 7 to 6 points, they will win. But then all of their road losses have been 10 plus points, and now you see why they lost. So I'm picking the Dolphins to win this game by a score of 21-17. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of things the Dolphins need to do to beat the Minnesota Vikings. If you're a Vikings fan, let me know what you guys think that you need to do to beat the Dolphins. You might think, hey, just play and we'll beat them because they suck. But hey, of course, whatever, we suck. Let me get to your guys' comment of the day. And this comment comes from Dirk. I think that's his name. I'm not 100%. And he says, what do you think about Kenyon Drake? Me personally, I like Kenyon Drake. I like what he does. He has a Barry Sanders style of football. And what I mean by that is he'll lose you 4 yards, but he'll gain you 20. So he's going to constantly try to hit that home run. But when he hits it, it's huge. It's not like 10, 5, 7 yards. He's gone. So I really like Kenyon Drake, and I know a lot of people have been like, we need to get him the ball more, we need to get him the ball more, we need to get him the ball more. He gets the ball a lot. It's just not being handed off to him because we are completely depleted with weapons on the offense. So he plays receiver, he's playing fullback, he's playing running back, he's out there. I do see what the Dolphins are doing with Frank Gore, and I do like what the Dolphins are doing with Frank Gore because Frank Gore is a bull. The dude will run people over and then continue to get yards, especially against the Patriots. He showed why he is who he is. But I would like to see them do a dual back set so then the defense doesn't know who's going to get the ball, Drake or Gore. But I do like Kenyon Drake. I like what he does, and especially after the miracle, I love him. Just like how we love Greg Camarillo after the Ravens game. He wasn't great. He was all right, but it's just the memories. But I do like Kenyon Drake because he's good. Fun fact, so last year, this was my wallpaper. Now, this year, this is my wallpaper. Both games against the Patriots in throwbacks. How funny is that? Speaking of phones, follow me on Twitter. I tweet out a ton of things. I tweet during the game. I tweet out Dolphin stuff. I tweet out things that I find funny. So follow me on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter and you want to follow me, you're amazing. If you don't, I don't blame you. Twitter can be a very strange place. Well, check out my second channel, The Bit Boys. We just put the scenes out and the gameplay for Super Smash Brothers. So, go check that out. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would check that out. Let me know what you think. Speaking of let me know what you think, let me know what you think of this channel and my videos. If you want them to be shorter, if you want them to be longer, if you want me to talk more about this, less of this, do this, less of this. If you don't like comment of the day and you think it's just stupid at the end to have comment of the day, then I'll stop doing it. I make these videos for you guys, so comment below, let me know what you guys want me to do, and I'll talk to you and see why. And you know, I take your guys' critiques very seriously. Give this video a thumbs up because the Bills beat the Vikings at home. We can do this. I have faith that we could do this. Our season relies on this. If we beat the Vikings, we're in the driver's seat to the playoffs. So give a thumbs up because we need to have hope and we need to just believe in this team and just, we can't lose every road game, huh? Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I do these videos 4 times a week. In the off season, I have a ton of things planned. They might be more than 4 times a week, especially OTAs and training camp. If you guys have been here from jump, you know what I'm talking about. But I will see you guys on Sunday, hoping and praying for a win. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.